Well, here we are then. Christmas.
Merry Christmas, me babbers. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Lush.
Christmas.
Thank God for that. How long has this taken to arrive?
Yeah. What a year, eh? What a year. This one's going to go down in history, literally.
It absolutely is. I tell you what, we would never have seen the birth of Customer Experience R&R, though, would it? Eh? If this hadn't happened.
This is true.
I doubt whether we would have been annoying people in 29 countries. 29 countries. 29
countries. And do you want to share with our listeners, we've got an international visitor, potentially.
We've had a request. We've had a request from Arizona in the good old US of A. Would like to come over and have a chat with us.
Wow.
How fantastic is that? Well, I mean, not physically, of course, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm loving your outfit. What you dressed up as?
Well, I haven't put my Christmas sweater on. I couldn't find it. So I just put my normal Friday afternoon attire on. I'll have my smoking jacket on later as well, a bit of a pipe, just to chill out. However, I am quite liking yours. I'm sure I saw you the other day on Elf the movie.
Yeah, this is my costume from Elf the movie. Look, even jingles. I'm so excited about today's episode because not only are we viewers going to give you a review of the year and our 6 top tips, as you'd expect from Insight 6, but we are also going to be reviewing. We thought we'd review 6 ciders. Rich, is it 3 each?
I think we've got 6 ciders. We have
ciders. Yeah, Lush. So if you're not from the West Country and you've never sort of been to the beautiful West Country, our staple diet for most of the year is on the food front is often a pasty.
Often, or an oggy, as they like to call them.
Yeah, or a cream tea.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and to drink, we like a drop of cider, don't we?
Well, more than a drop, isn't it? That. Yeah. We'll give them a little bit of a taste. I mean, obviously, we're doing this for you, our listeners and our viewers, because obviously we realise you can't partake. However, if you are sat there in the depths of despair, crack open a bottle whilst you're listening to us warble along, and I'm sure all will be merry as we go into Christmas itself.
I think we'll be merry by the end of it anyway. Right.
Well, here's hoping. So before we get into the cider, what's our top tip?
Yeah, great. Yeah, good shout. So if you remember back to March, we did a big piece around how are you communicating with your clients, and you used to talk about the P word a bit, didn't he? Pivot.
Yeah.
And we used to talk about, or we were talking about at the time, how do you continue to communicate in a way that engages with your clients and your customers for them to understand what you are able to offer, what you were able to offer during the pandemic and beyond, and that hasn't changed. So one of our first top tips was communicate. So making sure that you are communicating through all of your virtual channels, to all of your online, through all of your social channels, making sure you're communicating to your people, to make sure they understood what the communication plan was. And the third one was making sure that in communicating, you were receiving the communication back from your customers to understand whether they really understood what you were doing, so you had an opportunity to listen. So the communication piece was there was 3. So it was all about how are you communicating virtually, how are you communicating to your team, and then what was the communication channels coming back from your customers. And that's just as important going into 2021 as it was in 2020. And I think we just need to remember that, I think, as a way forward.
Absolutely. So ask some great questions and listen to the answers. That's what communication's all about.
Yeah.
So
right then, first cider. Right, you go first.
It's called the what are we on? Orchard Pig Truffler. Orchard Pig Truffler. And this is rooted in Somerset. So it is from Somerset, from Glastonbury, from near the Tor. It's more apples, less bubbles.
I can smell it from here.
Oh, yes, lightly carbonated, not too much, less bubbles. You're Gert Lush, that.
Gert Lush.
It's Gert Lush.
What sort of aromas are you getting from it?
Apples. It's relatively dry. It's a relatively dry one, actually. So if you're liking the sweeter one, don't worry too much about this one. But if you're liking a bit more of a dry cider, which I do, it's going down rather well. So yeah, that's the Orchard Pig. Let's not spend too long thinking about it.
Orchard Pig Truffler. Your turn. What's your tip then?
So my tip, hang on, let me have a think. I can't remember which one we said. Now, little big things, the little big things.
Little big things.
That's
Tell us about those, Rich.
Well, what we're talking about there is, and we spoke about it before, is that, of course, there's little grand gestures about customer service, and there's all these, and customer experience. You can do lots and lots to show your love for your customers and your clients. But the small things really matter, and they're the things we pick up on. And as we've said throughout the year, there's lots to think about in terms of, just asking that extra question to really understand where your customer's at. Providing them with, we mentioned handwritten notes earlier on. A handwritten note saying thank you. That's not on a mass mailing. There are little gifts out there. Don't need to be really expensive. Just nice little things that show you're thinking about your customers, and that's the key thing that I always remember about that. Make sure that they're nice little things your customers appreciate, and just going that little bit further. There's things that the other organisations don't generally do. They're little big things. That's what it's all about.
Sure, it's a great point. I've got a client that I've done a lot of work for this year, and I presented at their partners conference. They're a law firm, Stephen Scone, great law firm down here in the West Country. And on Tuesday this week, a little knock at the door, and a little parcel turned up from Cornish Food Company, and they said a huge thank you for all your hard work. And there was some cheese. There was a lovely bottle of Camel Valley wine in there. I do drink other things other than cider, and some West Country biscuits. And you know what? That probably meant more to me in terms of people appreciating what I'd done across the year than actually what, getting paid for doing what I was doing. It really, I thought, you know what? People have really taken time to think that that's important. Right, now my turn. So I've gone, my first one is a Devon Cider. Can you see it there? Look, hang on.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, there we are. Ants and Bay. Ants and Bay. This is it's called Hunt's Cider. Stoke Gabriel, just outside Exeter. Looks lovely. And just to give, because obviously I'm Cornwall as well, I've been drinking it in my Rattler glass. So if you fancy it, that's another cracker, that is, Rattler. So this one is 4.8 ABV.
Oh,
a nice little kick to him.
Is that all?
That's all he is.
He's quite a low one.
You can't get too leery on this bait.
I can't read it.
It's not a still one. It's a little fizzy number.
Has that got a few more bubbles in them?
A few more bubbles. Yeah, that's quite that's aptly, as you'd expect.
As you would.
Yeah. But it's like a medium sweet. So
yes. Okay.
It's a nice early evening when you finish work drinking cider. Years ago, here's a story. Years ago, when the bays were bringing in the bales,
yeah,
they used to get paid by cider, pints of cider. So you'd have had 4 or 5 of these. If he was out in the fields 50, 60, 70 years ago.
So, excellent. Well, that's what we're liking to hear, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
So,
right.
What are we talking about next?
So we've done communicate. We've done the little big things. Well, the other thing I started to talk about when we went into lockdown was the 3 Gs: the get in, the get it, the get out. Funny enough, I wrote an article for a local magazine last week, actually talking about this particular top tip. And also, if you're on our mailing list, you'll be getting the 12 days of CXmas at the minute. And wow. I talk about get in, get it, get out on that as well. But really important one, this one. It's a really simple one. But as we move into 2021, your business model may well have changed. And I know you're going to talk about client journeys and different journeys in a minute, Rich. But the real thing, the real basic stuff to measure when you are pivoting your business or changing your business is to understand how people are going to get in. So how they're going to access your business, if it's a shop, are you communicating your opening times? Have they changed? Are you opening differently than you were in the past? Or is your website changed? You've got an online offer. So how are they going to get into your brand? Then get it is really simple. How do they get what you're selling and buy the product? All right. So is it simple? Is the payment simple system? Is your website easy to navigate? Is it easy to order and Are your delivery schedules really simple to see?
So
Is that?
Are you talking about speed now? Because it's, you know, get in, get in, get out. Is that you know, as quickly as you possibly can? Is that what
No,
we're
not
talking
all the time. Not all the time. It's about that value proposition. But yeah, I get why you'd ask that question. It is about being efficient, definitely. You know, being able to get to the product, and then get out is, you know, being able to pay easily, leave a great review, and you know, maybe there's a buyback marketing point to, you know, when you leave, come back, spend next time, get another 10% off or whatever it is. So really simple: get in, get it, get out. Really crucial for 2021. What have you got next then? I'm intrigued.
So I've got I don't know which one to go to first. Now, have you got a Thatcher's one there?
I have got a Thatcher's Rascal.
Snapsy. the old. A lot of people probably know Thatcher's name. Again, Somerset cider, family cider makers, established a long time ago. Because again, I can't read it on the bottle.
Let me help you out here.
And this is a 4.5. So again, this is quite a sort of a little bit lower on the old ABV. These bottled ones that they're doing now give you a little bit of a different taste in terms of the normal gold and the cloudy efforts, which are a little bit sweeter for the sweeter palate.
Thatcher's, well, not a little known fact here, but Thatcher's they did £99 million worth of sales last year. They've grown, haven't they?
Well, I was going to say, you should stop buying so much from them then. That's a problem.
Yeah, I should. I should. So tell us what it's like now. I might open it actually and join you.
Actually, that's quite nice. It looks much darker. I mean, if you look at the difference in terms, see, people go, well, cider, isn't it? Well, no, it isn't. Look at the difference in them colours.
Oh, that's
exactly.
Yeah, you're right there. Look.
Yeah.
Look.
I must admit. Yeah, exactly. So this one is again. This is a dark one. You see, Rascals. This dark cider. It's quite smooth. Actually, quite nice. A few more bubbles.
Well, that's lovely.
Not too sweet, actually. That's quite nice again. Yeah.
But, lovely.
Keep going for that, and actually, yeah.
Just while I was talking, I haven't got any Rattler with me, but Healy Cider down in Cornwall, do lots of lovely ciders as well. So you can get them in most supermarkets. But I do like a Rattler. But I went to the Co-op today and I couldn't find any.
Oh no, nightmare!
Bloody old Co-op.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. Right. What
are we on to next?
Are you doing client journey?
Client journey. What do we say about that? I think got to keep remapping, haven't you? It's all about remapping, not
process, employee, customer.
Yeah. So there's various journeys, isn't there, that everybody goes along. And in terms of a customer journey, there's lots of different journeys that happen out there. Our customers go on this different journey from our employees inside all of that, and maybe our suppliers. So there's lots and lots of different ways we interact with different people around our businesses, whether we're retail, professional services, whatever it is. So all of those different routes to you and how you interact with people, you really need to take time to pause and have a look at those, because if you don't, your processes, and you're going to be talking about people and processes in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, I'll get a bit gaseous. It's all terrible.
Right, Burn.
Well, let me flatter as ciders. Yeah, you've got to make sure you're understanding all of those different journeys so that you can pinpoint areas where you might not be covering all the bases, if you like. There might be those little pain points that are not being picked up. Unless you stop and actually do what we call the old journey mapping, which I'm sure all our listeners, actually, majority of our listeners have got that taped. They're mapping left, right and centre. But if you haven't managed to get round to mapping all of those journeys, then suggestion, for early 2021 is really just to look at what's going on, because there's so much change this year in terms of the touch points and the number of touch points that your customers particularly are having with your organizations. You've actually got to stop and relook at those, because your processes and your people may not be actually reacting in the right way to that new journey. And there might just be a slight tweak, answering telephones when you're remote working. I had a number of conversations this week about that in terms of, we're not sure our tech's actually doing what it should do. We're not sure people know who to pass on to who. all of these things affect the journey. So I've got to look at it. That was what we were talking.
Yeah. So just building on that, I'll talk about my 3 steps, if you like, with that, because
Yeah, why not?
you've touched on it. So give you a chance to have a swig as well. So there are 3 key points to any journey. So you're mapping your process, and you're making sure that that process map is end to end, where all those touch points. So they might be, you know, on your website, they could be on your social channels, they could be in your office. And then as you travel through, as the client travels through, or the customer travels through your brand, it's really making sure that your employees are engaged with all those touch points, and making sure they understand what the customer's expectation is at those touch points. And then crucially, checking in with the customers to make sure that they understand what or you're understanding how they feel about those touch points as well. So there's 3 really simple points that you can map during that as well.
And that's really, in terms of that sort of checking in with your customers piece, got to make sure you're doing that regularly, though, haven't you? Because if you wait to the end of an interaction, particularly if you're thinking about something like legal firms or accountants, you know, when you're working with clients for quite a long time, if you leave it to the end of the year to say, how are we doing? They might have forgotten a lot of the bits that didn't go quite as well, because often we only remember the bits that didn't go so well. So, you know, if you're checking in with your customers a little more often, once a quarter, once every, you know, after each stage of the interaction with you, you build up a really strong picture of what's going on. And then if there are any issues, you can deal with them a little bit earlier. So
yeah, absolutely. You have to nip them in the bud, aren't you?
And
so
interestingly enough, there's a nice bit of software you could use for that called Instant Insight. I don't know whether you've heard of it.
Brilliant.
It's by this great firm called Insight 6. So if you'd like to hear
We've
more,
got to get a plug in somewhere, haven't we? Right, now let's move on to important stuff.
What are you on now then?
This is my second one. So this one's a particular favourite of mine. Not just because I'm a Devonian born and bred. Actually, I'm a bit of a hybrid, because my dad was from Cornwall, my mum's from Devon, but you know, that's all right. But this one's from Sanford Orchards, and it's a Devon Red. So if you talk to people in Devon about the sort of cider they normally drink, they'll normally say to you, I either drink an Anson Bay or a Devon Red. And it's not too gassy. It's an amber cider. You can see there, look, you see that one? Quite an amber cider.
Yeah, hold it in front of that lovely sweater.
Yeah. No, it's not a sweater. This is my my going out outfit. This is my elf outfit. So now this is quite florally. It's not quite so appley. Florally when you smell him. All right. Oh,
okay. Ooh, I'm excited to hear this. So is this dry in, or is it medium?
It's dry. It's not as sweet as your Anson Bay or your Thatchers. So it's a nice one. I drink it a lot. So made in Greetin.
Oh, Greetin. Oh,
yeah.
Oof. Yeah. Metropolis that is Greetin.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, get Sanford Orchards. Barney's the manager at Sanford. He owns Sanford Orchards. So yeah, give Barney some of your business. 4.5% that one.
Oh, is that all? Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to take it up a level. Oh, I did before. That was 6%, wasn't it? The one I started with. I've got another 6 that are coming up as well.
Don't peek too soon. I've got to do another tip yet. Right, here we go. Okay, so we've done get in, get out. We've done communicate. We talked about process, your client journey, process, employee, and customer. You're going to talk about a warm UX in a minute.
Ooh, air.
Yeah.
I liking that in a winter.
I want to talk about wrapping things in love.
Oh, that's a nice one to talk about, Chris.
Yeah, I like that one.
Wrapping.
Yeah, I like that one. Love. So, wrapping things in love. You'll be doing that when you're wrapping your presents this year, I'm sure. Yeah. But obviously for Mrs. Knight, you'll be, that new car you bought her, you'll take a bit of wrapping up, won't it? But anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. No, actually, no, because it's just a corgi, so the box is only that.
Wrapping technology in love. Now, this is what we talked about this when we were talking about businesses pivoting. And we were talking about this. There we are again in May, June time. And we were talking about lots of local businesses that were taking their products and services online, and they were using online platforms to deliver that as well. So some great examples. We talked about our local towns and villages and all that kind of stuff. But what, you know, a couple of things to remember about wrapping technology in love. Lots of times, you and me hear, don't we? We hear them say, "It's all right, Rich, right? We've got a process in place. Yes. We've got a digital process that's improved the client experience."
Yeah,
brilliant. To the customers, no. Have you asked the customers if it works?
Yeah.
Have you asked the customers? Have you told the customers how it works? So the classic one here that came to fruition. Love that word. Came to fruition when particularly the legal industry and the professional services industries more generally were trying to interact with clients, you know, via tech. They were trying to get them to give their when they had to provide ID, and they were looking at different apps and so on and so forth. And they weren't great at telling the customer how to use it. So there was, you know, the customer journey fell over. So when you put a new technological process into your business, that's great. You know, you're hoping to make the process more operationally efficient and slicker, but make sure your customers understand it. Wrap it in love, right? Wrap that technology in love. It's really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's go away. That's a great one. I love that. I think I might drink to that. It's such a good point. I think I'm going to drink to it. Oh, mine's empty. Better get another one open. So on to the next.
What have we got now?
I'm on Sheppy's Master of Cider, the traditional organic cider. This is a 6%er. It's good lush.
Wow.
Absolutely. And this is from, again, every drop of Sheppy's is expertly crafted by David Sheppy, which is a bit of a giveaway in terms of the name, but they're good on David. 6th generation Master of Cider.
Is he?
Yeah, from one of the oldest and most distinguished cider making families in the world, which is
wow.
So, I'm looking forward to cracking this bad boy open here. Look, I was trying to find out where they're based as well. But again, I'll have a look in a minute. Are you taking selfies again already?
Yeah, I'm taking selfies. Sheppy's is based in Taunton.
That was it. I knew it was written there somewhere.
Yeah. So what is it? Is it a?
Now. Oh, this is a different nose. I'm liking this one. Yes, much more aromatic.
Fizzy or not?
Hang on, let me get my laughing gear around it, as they say. No, it's nice and lightly effervescent.
Gerlash. Right, now, so last top tip, you're going to talk about warm UX.
Yes, and
euphemism.
If you're easily offended, please turn off now.
Turn off now.
How to warm up your UX. Now, actually, just wanted to reiterate the point that Ben made on our last episode last week around this warmth of the interaction and the usability of technology and the digital piece. Because I think the key thing that we've learned a lot more now is that digital can work. You know, isn't these
Who knew?
Hey,
who knew?
And so it's not dark arts. It is out there. It's been out there for some time, but I think a lot of people, particularly businesses, have sort of shied away from interacting with it, but they've had to this year. So therefore, to your point around the process, new different things coming in, new tech coming in, they've got to know about it. They've got to tell customers about it, but actually it's making those little tweaks to this sort of interaction and the usability of these platforms and the technology that makes it a bit more of an experience. Ben was talking about, you know, the little when you've got a mouse and it scrolls over something on a screen, what happens? Is there some interaction? It isn't just a little clock that ticks away, you know, usual old things. Or back in the day, if anybody remembers, and they had the old the timer that was used to sort of turn around, the sand timer used to turn round and round and round. Yeah,
buffering.
Yeah, and obviously we don't have to wait too well. I was going to say, depends where you are in the West Country, because we've still got some bits of string down the telephone wires down here. But if you're waiting, what's happening? Is it a little bit more interactive? Is it a little bit more fun? You know, are there screens that actually invite you in to look at them, and are they more engaging? And there's loads of theory around the screen and all the different places you should put things in terms of websites, and you know, if you're doing e-learning for your customers, if you're providing services for your customers around e-learning and all those great things. There's so much we can do to keep people engaged, because we know that this year is the year where client and customer experience has taken over as the key brand differentiator. So you've got to keep that going into the likes of your digital offering, so that it's a warm UX experience or user experience.
A warm user experience,
UX, and that is nothing to do with your fireside or your hot water bottle. So anyway,
right, just before we recap, we're on the last one now. So this one, are you feeling tiddly or not?
No, bugger am I. I haven't had a second bucket yet. I'm doing all right.
Right, so now this one, I put this one in because most people have got a co-op in their town. I feel like I'm doing an advert for the co-op tonight. But this is a British cider now. So we've moved away from the West Country now.
Ooh.
It's called the Tillington Hills. This one,
Mm-hmm.
Available in the co-op. It's a premium dry cider.
Oh,
I'm going to give that a go.
Because it's not in the West Country, your accent seems to have gone very Middle England.
Very, yes, darling.
This is a premium cider.
This is an English cider. So you can see here, but much darker.
Oh yes, it looks more like an IPA.
Yeah, this is all joking aside, this is the type of cider if you were drinking this now in the West Midlands, sort of Hereford, Gloucestershire area, this is the type of cider you'd be getting. So
oh, okay.
It's it's nice. If you like a dry cider, do you remember dry blackthorn? Remember dry blackthorn?
Yeah. Oh yes. What, in the plastic bottles?
Yes.
4 litre plastic bottles or whatever they are.
Not White Lightning that you were drinking on the street corner, but no.
Or a Thunderbird hose on, mate.
So this is it's a full-bodied dry cider, Tillington Hills. It's 6%, so go a bit steady. All right. But yeah, it's nice. It's one of my faves.
Excellent.
So if this is going to recap, then let's just recap where we've been. So get in, get it, get out is around wrapping your technology in love.
Map it. Don't forget to remap all of these different journeys that your customers and your employees and everybody's going on. There's different journeys that they're all going through. Warm UX, and finally the little big things.
So and then we'll just recap our ciders. So I had a Hunt's Anson Bay.
Then we had an Orchard Pig Truffler.
Devon Red. There we go.
And then we went on to Thatcher's, that well-known brand, but we went for their Rascal.
We had Tillingtons, darling. Tillington's British cider.
But then we ended it with their Sheppy's, a bit of Sheppy. That was really nice. Another 6%er. Get blasted on that. So,
wow, what a year! What a year! So listeners, watchers, we'll be back. We'll be back in 2021. We've got a really exciting plan to talk to you about in 2021, which we'll talk about in early January. We're back in early Jan, and what certainly from our perspective, we've really enjoyed pulling this together for you. And thank you for sharing and commenting. If you want to get in contact, you want to get involved, like our friend from Arizona, we're on LinkedIn, Ryan Uxtable, Richard Knight, get in contact. Please keep sharing and commenting. Rich, what do you want to say, babe?
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say, if you've got anything you want to talk about with us, we'd love to have a chat with you on our little podcast here from the West Country. It'd be good. And you don't have to be from the West Country, as we know. So it's fine. We'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas and new trends from the customer experience world, because the more people know about it, the better the experience for everybody. We're all customers, and we'd all like our experiences to be as great as it possibly can be with anything we're buying, whether it's a product or a service. So we'd love you to get involved. Be great.
So final thing to say is raise your glasses.
Hang on, I've got to charge it first.
Charge them up. Here's to a exciting and better 2021. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.